Hello, guys. Uh, we will be starting this uh, second session for the day. Just let me check whether everything is fine. If things are uh, in place, watching it, please let me know if you're able to see it. Okay, seems to be fine. Uh, okay. Okay, so before I start this session, let me just quickly run you through some precautions which you need to take for the next few hours, obviously, and eventually it will come up for a longer period because it's not just that only for 14 hours that you're going to be here and the virus is going to go away. Now, the first thing that you need to be clear about is stay at home today. Make sure that you wash your hands as many times as possible, at least 3 to 4 times a day, and every single time that you basically touch something which you find might be iffy is good enough. Take a shower at least twice a day, if not more. Especially if you have gone out and come back home, please do take a shower. Uh, Please make sure that anyone who is older or might be suffering from some illness, like for example, diabetes or asthma, etc., uh, is isolated as much as possible, is not exposed to the elements because you might have the immunity, that person may not, right? Most people at risk are obviously who are above the age of 65, 70, but that doesn't mean that younger people are completely safe, right? Next thing that I would like to suggest is you would see a lot of economic pain during this period. So try to relieve the pain of those who are around you. So if you have shops which are open in your locality, small shops, uh, try to buy from them rather than buying from online vendors, right? It will be very very helpful for them because those guys have very little protection, and they are also closing down because they are mindful of the community, not because, I mean, if allowed they will open and take precautions, right? They will say that I am safe, right? But it's because the community has to shut down, they are also closing down. So please be mindful. So whenever you actually go out, not today, please don't go out today, but whenever you get a chance, whenever it next goes, go and shop from smaller places, go and shop from local places, local vegetable vendors, local markets, etc., rather than buying from bigger stores, supermarkets, etc. The smaller stores need your help more than ever before. Please try to buy local as much as possible. Similarly, if you have smaller businesses around you, try to support them. Please don't order from food delivery services online, not because I don't like them, but because you are putting the lives of those people who are delivering them for your convenience at jeopardy, right? So try to cook at home, try to learn cooking at home. That's actually a very nice skill to pick up at this particular point of time. Make sure that make sure that you speak to your near and dear ones as much as possible. I mean, now you cannot give an excuse that you're very busy. Make sure that you actually speak with them. Okay, so with that to start off with, let's see uh, what we are supposed to be done today. This session is basically about how to go about preparing for CAT 2020. We will look at some generic questions which keep on getting asked. We will look at section level strategy in the next session over here, but here we are looking at some generic questions which do get asked a lot of times again and again and again, and unfortunately for most of the questions the answer is it depends. I will try to look at uh, answers or reasons beyond it depends in each of these cases. So I've looked at 3 or 4 things on what you can look at, and If you have any more suggestions, etc., please do let me know in the comments to this video. I will try to incorporate in the next one as well. So the most common question which is asked, and I get asked this question multiple times, is should I leave my job for CAT preparation? uh, there are a couple of things, and you may not like that answer. Is that number one, you may not have that choice in a few months' time or a few weeks' time because there's a lot of economic pain, right? You might not have a job. So that is a question which uh, you may not have the choice, etc. Number two, for the same part, is you can use this particular point of time, and actually is a very opportune moment for you. You can use this particular point of time to figure out whether you will be able to concentrate by sitting at home and working towards your CAT preparation. I mean, this gives you a very good dry run, so to speak, to see how much you can actually concentrate. Right? You have been complaining to everyone that I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. Now you have enough time, right? I'm pretty sure your work is not suddenly going to explode because most offices are working at half capacity or one third capacities if they are operating. Number two, there are a lot of companies even abroad where the first focus is basically to get away from this virus, and then we'll see if we survive. Then we'll figure out whether we will what to do later on. So work pressure has reduced quite a bit in a lot of places. In some places it might have increased, but most of the places uh, work pressure has been actually decreasing for a lot of people. So this is a very good time to see whenever the company is open again, should you leave your job or not. So that's a very good try run. In one of our previous videos, we had actually told people if they want to switch or if they want to leave a job, what is the way to go about leaving the job. So the idea was basically take a 1 or 2 week break instead of leaving your job straight away. Try to see how much time you're able to devote for CAT preparation. This actually is an opportunity for you to actually figure out how much time you can actually devote for your CAT preparation. So uh, use this time to figure out how much time you're actually able to devote. Most people, I fear, they want to leave a job because they are thinking too much about the job. So unfortunately, whenever as you grow older in life, you will have multiple responsibilities to take care of. For example, you might have a family, you might have a job, you will have some of your friends to deal with, etc. So you'll have to manage time and balance your life across all these different areas, right? If you're not able to balance those things, you will always be asking for time from everyone. So try to make sure that you basically balance your time as much as possible over here. Try to discipline yourself over this period of time. So if uh, you are working, make sure that your phone is away from you. uh, you are concentrating on everything 100%. If you are not working, if you are studying, again, make sure that your phone is away, you're working and you're studying properly, and in front of you, assuming that, right? So please make sure that you concentrate on a point of time, have a schedule for yourself. You don't have to have a schedule uh, based on somebody else, but you can have a schedule based on what you are good at, what you are not good at, and then decide what exactly do you want to get, where do you want to get over there. That is number one when it comes to the time that is utilized. My suggestion, 95% of the time I say you're not managing your time well, so don't leave your job. You can manage your job if you manage your time well. CAT requires roughly about 2 to 3 hours every day at this stage. I mean, you are in middle of March, end of March. From this point till November, you will easily have about 6 to 7 months, actually even more, almost 8 months, right? So enough time if you spend 2 to 3 hours a day, concentrated 2 to 3 hours a day, add additional one over here. CAT 2021, the easiest way I would suggest is first make sure that you get enough marks in your graduation. That nicely leads on to our next question. How good is my profile? Should I, uh, if I get X percent in 10th, Y percent in 12th, and Z percent in graduation, will I get a call, or what? How much percentile is needed to get a call to IIM A, B, C, X, Y, Z? Right. So this is the next most question which is asked over there. So uh, from our past trends, the easiest answer is, I mean, you obviously have a lot of people having a lot of data and figuring out what exactly is there. If you're a general category student, engineer, male, you need upwards of 99.5 percentile with good academics to have a shot at ABC, right? Now, as you have additional as you have additional uh, additional achievements, your percentile requirements might drop a little bit, right? So, for example, if you are exceptional in your 10th and graduation, you are around 5%, 10%, then your percentile requirement in one of those colleges like A or B might actually reduce. C is basically a flat. If you are getting more than 80%, this is what you have. If you have more than 80% in graduation, you are going to get a certain amount of score over there. So there is no there is no direct they don't specifically uh, they don't specifically what do you call help the other people as such. Okay, now if you are a non-engineer, again the relaxation might be there a little bit, but remember a lot of non-engineers also score roughly the same amount of marks as what engineers score. So not a lot of part, but non-engineers do have some relaxation. You get percentile relax, not explicitly, but the cutoffs usually tend to be lower because 75 to 80% of the CAT test takers are engineers. So anyways are in a minority, so you'll end up having a lesser pool to compete against. Uh, if you have work experience, again it counts. We'll come to what to show for work experience a little later in the session. But if you have work experience, it does help out. And if you're again, if you have more than all these things, then obviously the numbers keep on reducing. Then you have reservation category. Usually for OBCs, somewhere between 2 to 5 percentile points is what we have seen is the reduction. So, for example, if a general category student gets at 99.5 percentile, OBC NC-OBC student might get it even at 97.5 or 98 percentile. Uh, right, in some cases it is as low as 95 also, but usually it's between 2 to 5 percentile points. SC/STs, again the relaxation is a little higher, but the seats are also very low. So that is something they cannot help, you cannot help if you're in the general category, or you cannot help if you're in the SC/ST category. The others can bicker about it. There is no point discussing whether reservations are required or reservations are not required. Just I mean, there are better things in life to worry about. Don't get into any discussion. We cannot change those criteria as such. uh, that's all I would say at this particular point of time. What about profile now? Is it correct that colleges use profile? I would say 100% correct that colleges use profile. Why is profile actually used by colleges? Profile is actually used by colleges as an indicator beyond just your CAT score. The thing is, there are two ways in which the IIMs can, or any of the other colleges can actually uh, improve their improve the intake of the student. Either they look at, okay, I have I will have such a good test that will be able to filter out all the good guys from the bad guys, or the other one will be, I will have the test as only one of the criteria. The other criteria will be things like acads, anything professional related, right? Now you cannot get a perfect test. In fact, the IIMs themselves keep on changing the difficulty level of English, maths, LRDI sections, and so on, right? So they themselves are not very each IIM feels a different way. It reflects in the type of test which comes up every year. Also, again, the difficulty level is A, unpredictable, B, is not consistent across the years. So we cannot get the perfect test, right? And if we get the perfect test, then everyone will try to figure out, how to answer it for only that particular pattern. So again, we Indians are too good for our own. I mean, it's too smart for our own good, right? Because we try to figure out the system too much, uh, the other people have to keep on changing it again and again. Now, given that we don't have the perfect test, there has to be another way of simulating it, because test is just one day. Now, you might argue that I've been working for 2 years, 3 years, etc. Fair point. But if you look at the cutoffs in these tests, if you answer even 30% of the test, you are in the top 10 percentile, right? So, I mean, with that of test, why is profile not important? A profile tells you your consistency. Okay. On the other hand, the test tells you your ability on that particular day. Now, unfortunately, management, most of the things that you learn in management take time to be applied. There will not be any surefire way of, saying that I am going to improve my company. There are a lot of things which managers do. Many of them are test and control or trial and error. For example, they will try it for some days, they will try two things in a certain point of time and then see whether this is correct or not. So, management as a science or management as a profession itself requires patience. So people who are practicing management also require to have some amount of persistence, consistency in their past background. A lot of people do and are able to perform on one day in a particular examination, but what those professors are looking for is some amount of consistency, right? Okay, your academics are good. Now, unfortunately, uh, we know that board marks, etc., vary multiple times. Uh, CBSE, state board, ICSE, international boards, all those things, they have different ways of giving marks. Some of them say that they are very easy, some of them are very difficult. Now, we can again keep on arguing till the cows come home, but that's a fact we cannot change. What you can, however, do is what I can very clearly say is that if you get more than 98 percentile in CAT, except for the top 10 colleges, almost every other college is open for you. If you get a 99.5 percentile in CAT, except for the top six colleges, maybe every other college is open for you. Right. So, given this scenario, why are we bothering about the exact percentile needed for you to get a call in either IIM, A, B, C, etc.? Remember very clearly, there are only about 50 jobs in IIMA, 50 jobs in IIMB, 50 jobs in IMC, etc. About 10% of the jobs which come up in those colleges, which are available only to those colleges. All the other 350 jobs will also be available for other colleges as well, right? Very few companies will openly discriminate just because you're from A, just because you're from B, now, except for unless you're looking for some very niche areas, like for example, private equity, venture capital funds, consulting roles, etc. Most of the other companies will not bother about whether you're from IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Calcutta, IIM Lucknow, etc. Right? They will take people and they will see what their track records are. You have people who are from a lower college who are managing people who are from a better, supposedly a better college over there. I think I've used this example multiple times in multiple answers of mine on Quora. The last formal job that I held, just before I was leaving that, the hierarchy used to be something like this. There was a person from IIM Calcutta who had about 5 years of experience at that time. He was reporting to a person from Jamnalal Bajaj who had about 15 years of experience, 15 to 20 years of experience at that point of time, who in turn was reporting to a person from Pune University MBA with about 15 years of experience, 14, 15 years of experience, right? So this is the this is the hierarchy which was there. It doesn't matter which university you're from. What matters is what job do you do. After the first 3 to 4 years, it's your experience. your networking, who you know, how you have done in the past, which actually matters more rather than which college you are from. Yes, that college can give you options of this, like it can give you networking ability, it will give you abilities, uh, it will give you opportunities, etc. But you have to make use of it. I can give you the best ingredients, but if you're a bad cook, the food is not going to turn out well. On the other hand, even with average looking ingredients, if you're a good cook and you improvise properly, you can make a very delicious dish. So your profile is important. Profile as such is important in a B school. It's not that they are discriminating. It is that they believe that that is an equally good part, an equally important part of a student while they're evaluating. Okay, and they keep on refining this again and again over a period of time. Okay, don't look, don't overthink, don't worry too much about whether a profile is good, profile is bad. Make sure that you give your best. That is the part which you can control. The other parts you cannot control. Work towards it. Now, the third most important question is, what are things which you can do beyond your work so as to stand out in a B school, right? Or to be make you eligible or make you a good fit for the interview round for in a B school. Now remember, a lot of colleges, at least for the till the time that they call you for the interview, they look at only the quantity of work experience. They only look at the marks. They only look at uh, they only look at your CAT percentile. The qualitative part, whether 2 years that you spent in a company, whether it was good or you were just passing time, sitting on a bench, that part is judged usually in the interview stage. Right? There are very few colleges which directly ask all these questions or do a very in-depth analysis over there. The reason that they don't do it is very simple, because of the number of applications which come up into a B school. Right. In US, the application to acceptance ratio is roughly about 1 in 5 or 1 in 4. In India, and the even private B schools get about 10 to 12, sometimes even more number of application for each seat. Right. So which means for each seat, about 10 to 15 people apply, and for IIMs, it's much more. The reason is IIMs are free, right? You don't have to pay a single rupee to actually go and apply for an IIM, right? Whereas in colleges abroad, you have to write the GMAT, then send your score to that particular institute, and then pay the application fee for that particular institute, and you can do it after you have seen your result. So it's a huge difference between the way GMAT colleges work and way the Indian colleges work. Most Indian colleges will close their application dates even before you write the test. So that is one of the reasons why uh, that is one of the reasons why they cannot exactly evaluate the quality of your work experience. But that said, you can improve your quality of work experience even for an interview and as a career in general. See, my basic idea is, irrespective of whether you want to do an MBA or not, you should have a good career. MBA is just a way of helping you reach that career. MBA is just a way of accelerating that career. But MBA should not be the end goal of your career. MBA is just a path through which you will reach your final end goal. So, with that in mind, you can look at quite a few courses and skills along with your CAT preparation, as well as your uh, uh, regular jobs also. Now, a lot of people are in the tech industry, right? So if you're in the tech industry, I would suggest add up couple of skills which are available over there, either in the management terms or in the technical part. So for example, if you like coding, programming, etc., pick up skills or develop projects which are relevant in today's day and age. So you would know machine learning and artificial intelligence, etc., are very important, or very I mean, about 70 to 80% of the CVs these days contain that word artificial intelligence or machine learning. So understand the basics of those particular areas, right? If you want, you can learn languages like like Python or R. You can use those packages, at least know the basics of doing it. I mean, if you spend about 10 to 15 hours on the internet one e- one one weekend, that should be good enough for you to pick up most of the skills which are required. Okay. The other way to go about is look at some practical business tools, like for example, you have Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, Tableau, all those things. Those things are coming up very very quickly. They have been there for quite some time, and they're used on a day-to-day basis. So pick up those skills. In fact, if you're going to be in a B school, Excel and PowerPoint are going to be your lifeblood. So understand automating those sheets, creating tables, pivot tables, etc. You would be able to you will be able to pick up those skills very very quickly. There are tons of online projects, free projects that are available. All you need to do is spend a weekend, figure out what exactly is needed, and you can learn most of them very very easily. That is the second thing which you can do. A third thing which you should work on along to in order to build your profile in this particular point of time is basically your communication skills. So if you are not able to speak to a particular person in a particular language, try to figure that out. I mean, 8 months, 9 months is a very good time to be fluent in either English or some foreign language, etc. Try to figure out a new language. Try to add to your skills and do it because not because you want to get a certificate or you particularly want to get a job, but because you enjoy that process. Even something as simple as learning to dance can be good enough for your profile. If you have shown that, if you can show that you are actually good at it. See, there are 100 things which can be made interesting. If you are going to do a particular if you're going to follow a particular hobby, or if you're trying to pick up some skills solely because it is valuable, or solely because you have to show it on your CV, or solely because you're going to get participation points or participation certificate, that's not the right way to do it, right? That's just, yeah, I'm picking up things. It's like uh, it's like visiting Goa. I have 5 points on my it's like I have 5 places to visit in Goa. I'll have to go and take a photo in front of them and put on my Instagram profile. That's not how you visit Goa or any other place. Instead of that, pick up 2 or 3 places, go and stay there, understand the local culture. Instagram can wait. You can probably look at Instagram later on also. But your main aim should be your holiday should be good. Not that your Instagram is flooded with comments and uh, comments and likes, whereas you had a very shitty experience over there, right? So understand that you're doing your profile, whatever your skills that you're learning, is because you are interested in those skills, not because you have to show something on your CV, right? That's a very wrong way of doing it. Obviously there is going to be a match. There are certain skills which if you learn may not be very relevant in a day-to-day business, right? On the other hand, there are certain skills which might be more valuable today. If you're inclined towards those skills, please do learn it, but there will definitely be alternatives to those skills which are also equally valuable. To to give you an example, if you think that machine learning is important, equally important is going to be the other side of art, which is basically digital marketing, SEO, keyword analysis, and all those. Those are also equally important, right? Because in our future, the jobs will not be necessarily purely on technical part. Most of the jobs in the future are expected to be uh, jobs where humans are going to tell computers or machines how to behave like a human, and you know make take away the unsafe job for humans. Like for example, if in a more realistic from now, if another virus affects us like this, I hope not, but if 10 years from now another virus affects us like this, technology should have progressed enough that instead of people driving on the roads, you should have robots and machines delivering food items, uh, drugs, etc., to all those who are needy, right? You will have probably machines who will be able to detect straight away what kind of disease you have, instead of us having to live, instead of us going to the hospital, probably those machines will come to our home and check us by itself and give instant results. That is what we hope will happen in the future. It's not there right now today, but this is this is the blueprint for the future. Machines are not going to replace humans. Machines are going to make life easier for humans. Right. So the jobs require which are low be upgraded, they will figure out new jobs. One classic example which is given is when the ATM machines were coming up. A lot of bank employees said like they said we don't want ATM machines because they all fear that we will we will lose our jobs, right? But what has happened is that ATMs have come up, so all the dispensation of cash, all those repetitive tasks are taken up, and the tellers and the clerks at the banks, they have now been trained to actually cross sell products or products of the manage the portfolio of customers. That's how they are being trained to do, right? So technology advances, humans will not be replaced, humans will do some other job, which or they will be free to do some other job which earlier was not possible or earlier may not even exist, right? So don't worry too much about it, and don't be is valuable or not. If you something, just go to, I mean, my favorite area to go to is, right, because that's where all the world works professional. So you go in and you will figure out what are the skills, what are the jobs, what are the networks which are available for people. Go there, identify what are the skills which people are acquiring, what are the things they want to learn, where is the attention of people. Once you get that, you know exactly what to do. Anything which interests you and anything which is valuable, if you can mix both of them, you have a very good professional life, irrespective whether you do an MBA or not do an MBA. So I hope this clarifies all the doubts about what certifications to do, what I mean, whether you should leave a job, whether your profile is good enough, how much percentile you need to score in your CAT examination, etc. Right? We will look at section wise preparation strategy for verbal and the math section. Right? If you have any particular queries for that particular section, please do send us on WhatsApp. The link is given in the description of this video. Meeting in the next. Bye. Stay close. Stay safe. Bye.